The driver who was supposed to be Claudia in a Honda Accord that didn't show up in that car, and it was a minor who actually delivered the food.
It was supposed to be a female, a teenager that delivered the food. And then when he got back in the car, a man driving the car.
How often has this happened to you so far?
It's about half. The first time I noticed, I'm just kind of noticing it out the window. After that, I started saying, you know what? I'm going to start putting a video camera in the door. I mean, I need to feel safe at my house. I need to know that my family is safe. Any business that does something bad business, it's hard to go back to that business. In all honesty, I feel like you should delete the app. I mean, what happens if there is an issue? What happens if they trip and fall on your sidewalk? If you can't count on these apps to do their jobs and properly put the drivers in place who are supposed to be doing the work, I don't know what else you're counting on the apps to do. That's their job.
All right, so I am joined with Steve, the customer who recorded the interaction with the driver who was supposed to be Claudia in a Honda Accord that didn't show up in that car, and it was a minor who actually delivered the food. So, Steve, thank you for taking time to go through this. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, and I'm glad that you're bringing this up. I'm glad you're doing this piece because it is very important.
Oh, I completely agree. That's why we're doing it. But thank you for first sharing that video. It's eye opening to see everybody who's really complaining about it and what's going on. So, first off, can you explain exactly what had happened? I mean, I kind of really gave it away a lot.
Yeah, so on that, well, I mean, it's happened other times too, but on the specific order that we're talking about, you and I right now, um, yes, it was supposed to be a female, and it was supposed to be a white. I don't have it in front of me. It was like a white Civic or something, you know, generic Toyota Camry, something. And when it showed up, it was not it was an off color of white, if even it was kind of a gray paper expired tag, pretty common stuff, completely tinted windows, and a teenager that delivered the food. And then when he got back in the car, a man driving the car. So no female even around. Um, Clearly, at best, that person is renting the account or letting these people use the account, which is still not okay.
Absolutely. So how often has this happened to you so far?
So, my son and I don't use the service a ton, but when we do, since April, May, when a lot of, I mean, it's been building here for a bit, but um, it's about half.
So, what was your initial reaction when you saw people delivering your food that was different from the one that's supposed to be the person who's in the app?
To start recording it, which is what got me to get you that video. The first time I noticed, I'm just kind of noticing it out the window, not thinking too much about it. After that, I started saying, you know what, I'm going to start putting a video camera in the door and see who comes up to the door.
And lo and behold, the first one that you put right in there was the fake it or illegal account. So, quite crazy to say, especially at 50%. Did this experience though make you feel unsafe or uneasy? And if so, how?
Yes, because these companies need to vet the people delivering the food better. I mean, I need to feel safe at my house. I need to know that my family is safe, that 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 I'm getting the protected and safe service I should be getting from an app, just like any business.
So, how has this incident affect your trust in using these delivery services like DoorDash and Uber Eats?
Um, it definitely scars it. It's any business that does something bad business, it's hard to go back to that business. It's hard to have a good taste in your mouth about it. And when it's happening as often as it has with me or other people I know in this market, I mean, some people are going to fall off by the wayside, and I feel like it's a problem that we know it needs to be controlled, but I feel like there must be methods to get it controlled quicker than it is being contained.
Mhm. Yeah. And so, will this actually make you feel a lot less comfortable ordering from these, or would you just not order from these companies again?
I mean, yeah, I'm going to try and not use these companies. If I get caught into this type scenario where, we've got a group of people watching a football game or something and we're going to order, I'm just going to do the same thing and put a camera in my door until that's not needed. I mean, people can think what they want of that, but that's what I feel is necessary because it's actual documented data that's real.
Oh yeah, absolutely, having that camera. So, um, yeah, it's definitely become an issue. But what do you think these platforms should do, or should more do to verify the identity of the drivers? And what kind of measures do you suggest if you have an idea?
Spend the money on the software and tech that's advancing for the facial recognitions and for for learning habitual habits of your phone, things like that that are helping, not just this. However, they're getting by these and is it proportional? Are their drivers proportionally being checked? Why not all of them? Like why is it 20, 25%? Why isn't it just everybody when you sign on or after your first delivery? I actually heard about that and I liked that. As a customer, I would like that. I would like to know that they're signing on and then doing it because who knows that maybe they have the original person in the room when they turn it on.
Yeah. I think that might help, alleviate some of the issue, especially if that person is not available. Like, maybe Claudia was there at the beginning and then went away, but, the reality is, who knows, especially if you're buying these accounts from somewhere. So, yeah, it's definitely, a good couple ideas. Maybe we'll see something like that. And then, when these things are happening, you're reporting these incidences, and how are they responding?
They're responding by paying for the entire meal, no matter on the times I've had to do it, no matter what the ticket cost is. They're paying the whole thing back. And then they're also giving me coupons. So they're doing what I would call good business by doing that. But it's like, how long is that sustainable? And is that really an answer to make me feel better about safety?
Yeah, and I mean, especially if this is happening about 50% of the time, it's a lot of meals that's gonna be comped. So yeah, sustainability, I don't see that being there. But I guess time will tell. Maybe if they implement those couple of ideas that you have when it comes to, the phone and, verification and that, maybe it'll help, alleviate that. But why do you think that it's important for customers to be aware of who's delivering their food?
Well, I mean, if I'm using a service and I'm being told this person's going to be there, whether it be deliver furniture, food, rideshare, I'm going to expect that to be the person that I'm doing the transaction with. It has to be transparent. It's something I fight for all the time is transparency, transparency, transparency. And I mean that in life. Like I apply that to everything in my life now. Transparency is my keyword of life. It's and it is that important. If I call an expensive rideshare, I wanna make sure that that's the driver.
Alright, what message would you like to send to other customers about the importance of matching drivers to their app profiles?
I hope that customers realize and don't think that this isn't that big of a deal. Like, "That's okay. I'm cool with that, whatever." I hope that it matters to them like it matters to me and to other people I know. I hope that it does, and if it does, do something. I mean, there's so many different things to do. Reach out to congressmen. Who knows what you do for a line of work as a customer? Do you have an inroad to some make some noise? Do something like because this isn't okay, and these are high end luxury services. So you should feel safe using them. And uh, I think there again, I'm going to go back to I think there's a way to correct this better than the companies are doing. I feel very strongly at that. I feel I know they could be doing much better job ending this very quickly.
Yeah. And then, so what advice would you have to other customers who may be facing,
So you mean like if they've used the service or something and
if they're no, if they're using the service and, a fake account, fraudulent account, illegal account, somebody who's not the account holder shows up delivering the food, what advice would you give them? Um,
to be honest, I mean maybe I need to incorporate this into myself because now that we've been talking, I feel like I mean to be in all honesty, I feel like you should delete the app. I feel like it is that important. I mean, make sure that you know what you're talking about. Make sure that it's not the person. Make sure that you're seeing this play out incorrectly. But yes, if the companies can't be making the have the customers back and make them feel safe and whatnot, I don't think that's an app you should be using.
I'm right there with you. So, the couple more questions that I have. First off, since this has happened, have you noticed or heard about similar situations happening to others?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Across the country. I talked to other people too, but even here in Denver, like I was saying, I do know people who don't work the apps who just are customers, and I used to go to them, they've come to me now, and now they're saying, "Yeah, dude, I'm not getting the driver that says," and I mean, what happens if there is an issue? What happens if they trip and fall on your sidewalk? What happens if, I mean, because that's your homeowner's insurance. Like now you have to deal with this, and how's that going to be dealt with? So I mean, I don't know. There's just too many. If you can't count on these apps to do their jobs and properly put the drivers in place who are supposed to be doing the work, I don't know what else you're counting on the apps to do. That's their job. And I would recommend anybody feeling skeptical to stop using them, man. If you're that really is my advice. It's sad, but it's true. That's my advice.
Yeah, go back, pick it up yourself, and meet the people who are making your food, or at least responsible for bringing your food from the restaurant. Um, but yeah, any last thoughts you'd like to share on this situation, on the situation as a whole with fake accounts and illegal accounts?
There's so many different types of illegal accounts. I just hope that I hope in this new year we're barely into it. There's a lot of time left. I hope these companies get more serious than they ever have been about security and actually understand this problem at its core and actually start tackling it at a much quicker rate than just slow rollouts and things like that.
All right, Steve. Well, thank you for coming on, sharing your experience. Thank you for sharing the video as well too. Kind of shedding more light onto what's happening with these fake and fraudulent accounts. So I truly appreciate it. Is there anything you'd like to shout out before we end the interview?
No, Rideshare Rodeo podcast, check it out. and
All right. Well, I'll leave links to that in the description so you can check it out because, yes, Steve is not just a customer, he is a driver as well. So he does, some ride share, some food delivery, a lot of last mile delivery. So if you're ever looking at finding more information about these delivery apps or anything, check out the channel.
Thanks, Chris.
All right. Well, thank you, Steve. Appreciate it.